Well, hello, hello. There's so much to say. Let me begin by saying my intentionality is for the masculine and the feminine to actually become one. Man and woman do the same thing. They are one. Men and women are one. They do the same thing. So everybody take a step back and realize that some of us women would really, really love for couples who truly love each other to have the future generations by raising non-traumatized, emotionally supportive children. But what we have is a society where women have been traumatized in relationships, and then they become what the young men call bitter. Well, I was called that, and I'm going to run with it. Take a look at this, folks. What is this? It is a sculpture of what? That's right, it's a tongue. And can you guys do this? Anyway, how many tastes does the tongue have? Class? Class? That's right, it has 7. Can you name them? Let's begin. Salt, sweet, sour, umami, fat, spicy, and bitter is 1. There's 7 tastes. Mother effers. And guess what else? There are 7 chakras. If we spent all our lives in our second chakra, just always effing and grinding, would we really be able to make money and have a balanced life unless we were porn stars? And oh, so many of the women die of cancer and some other weird neuroses because they just aren't fit for the job emotionally. As far as staying power goes, they get used up. Men, you guys are wired to do that. Now, also, the porn industry is a subject unto itself, and I'm not going to go there right now. We're going to stick with this, the tastes. But what I will tell you is that the porn industry has changed over the years, and it has become the early access point for young men to find out what sex is. And I'm also here to tell you, you got that all wrong. So we're going to be talking about Erotica by Anna Nin. Anybody have this book? Want to really find out what women need you to do for them? It's such a beautiful, simple task. It's called The Art of Seduction. Some of these stories are perverse, true, because they appeal to the male mind. Women weren't necessarily exposed to erotica, were they? I'm not an erotica historian. I should find out. That's note to self. Erotica, origins and history. Because I am a writer, and my book is called The Lay Girls. And it is the story of when I did phone sex on the other side of a plexiglass. And men would come to me for that, and they would jerk off on the other side of the panel. And then other girls had openness, so men had access to them. And I didn't do those. No. And when I say access to them, I mean they'd have this much of an access, like a quarter size. I mean, men would have to stuff themselves through there, get lubed up and jerk off, you know? And to do so, they'd have to stand on a chair, and they had Kleenex boxes. Yes, I know this. I was there. I lived it. This was in the 80s. It's in my book. It's a very interesting book. I am looking for a publicist. I talk about the different girls that work there. I talk about their backstories, these girls. I talk about the regulars. And then I talk about this, which is what I'm getting back to. Men would bring in their younger male folk, and they would become educated. And I would describe to them all the female genitalia parts, and I would tell them how we like cunnilingus, meaning your mouth pleasuring us. And I also said, you don't always have to go for that. It's something that is built into the relationship. I, for one, find that a very intimate thing to have a man's tongue between my legs, and I prefer it doesn't happen casually. That, for me, always was developed. You had to really know the man. He had to be your relationship. It wasn't casual, if you catch my drift. But we would do what's called heavy petting. So that's one of the things that porn does, is it has you jumping straight to the action that really takes a really long time for a really real life woman to get to, and it should you too. But if you are become porn addicted, you are creating in your mind a more and more sensationalized and perverse way of getting off. That's why I'm saying you need to begin using your active imagination again. And that's why reading erotica will help, especially women. But I suggest one does it with an open mind. But it's not for everybody. It isn't. I am suggesting you get off hardcore porn altogether. And if you're having a hard time, meaning getting hard, because that's what happens to men, you read sensuality together. Or he reads it and she reads it and you talk about it. Maybe you try this, you act out the fantasies in it. Guys that have ED because they were porn addicted, I know. You guys exist, all right? And you're the pissed off ones. Learn how to keep it erotic, not neurotic, and be with one woman. And you have to learn how to fondle her. You have to learn how to fondle her, okay? And then you get into cunnilingus and fellatio, okay? Okay? So these tastes are essential. Let's go over them again. Bitter, salt, sweet, sour, umami, fat, spicy. Think about the chakras. Remember I said you can't just stay in the second one and have sex all the time? Well, think about this. What happens if you eat salt all the time? What happens if you use sugar all the time? Just sugar. Sour. What about sour all the time? How much sour can you handle? How much sour can you handle? There's a cat right there. Should I move things over for you so you can make yourself comfortable? Oh, we're also going to cover this book. Overheard in a bookstore. It's really funny. This is really good. This is Green Goddess Synergy. Yeah, I own it. I'm a goddess. Somebody called me arrogant. I'm like, all right. Thank you. I know what I am. This has sweet and sour. And a little bit of bitter, just right. So people like kombucha. I'm sure you all can handle what I dish out. So, what we have going on is this wonderful mocktail I've come up with. Get a bubbly mineral water and do it 50-50 with guava goddesses. And we're goddesses and we own it. And we should not expect anything of you all other than criticism for actually liking ourselves, which is where I'm going with it. Stay on your high horse, ladies. No, giving them sex easy is not the Trojan horse to a relationship, contrary to popular male opinion. And also, I am not like the queen maker. I'm not interested in women or their body parts or having them grind on me. I need a man if I needed a sexual partner at all. But right now, I am partnering with myself, which includes whenever I do want to feel the gift that the God and Goddess of creation have given us. When I want that big O, it's mano a mano, and the pleasure is mine. And it's so divine and wonderful because I am a child of creation. I am connected to all that is. I have always been. I always will be. I am part of this beautiful universe that we call life. And I know that for a fact because I experienced it. And it's so true that I am arrogant. I am full of, it's so wonderful to own your truth. Pull of a cup of cuppa. Life can be bittersweet. So if there's something to learn from me, it's that I have lived life. Also, I have chosen narcissistic men. Also, there's a reason for that, my childhood programming. Also, now I know I jumped into a relationship too quickly, but I also, don't you realize, I didn't have a support system. But if people want to complain and say that they had it harder than the other person, why don't we just put it this way? We all have had a challenging time in life. If you missed it, I'm having this. And yet we can meet those challenges. Otherwise, we wouldn't have set them up for ourselves. If you want to take an empowering position, I fought and fought and fought with this idea that the narcissistic family was punishment. And lo and behold, it might be. But now I know. I realize and see so much through behavior now that I am able to know that this person is in a place where I'm a tool for them and I don't wish to be. I wish to be in alignment with my divine, with my creator. And that's really what we're all here for. And criticism of others is actually a sign that you have unfulfilled desires. That's what it usually means. Criticism is different than responding or commenting. A person can have a completely different idea than you and different reality, and women and men are experiencing different realities. And a lot of it is in your head, guys. Women don't want you to ensnare us in a false relationship that's built on sex. And I personally have never used sex as a reward. And I've heard that online as well from women. It was never part of the reward system. It was a given because sex keeps a couple together, and sex is the glue. It's the spiritual glue. And I wanted so much for that man to be the man that he was in the beginning of the relationship when he was kind and loving to me, and he changed. Not, I wanted him to be the potential. I was with narcissists. They love bomb you. They change their behavior and mirror you. And then they change, and then they hate you for who you are. But yet they still love you because they want to have your wonderful, voluptuous body in bed. And I love them enough. They're not awful all of the time. That's what people don't understand. But when you cry in the shower and hope he dies in rush hour that's going 30, 35 miles per hour, if that, you know something's wrong with your marriage. When he joins AMWAY and you have an infant, toddler in diapers, and an infant suckling off your breast, and his upline tells him to tell me that I'm a negative wife, that I'm not supporting his dream, because I didn't pack up everybody and go to a hotel room while he goes to some conference hall, all in an air-conditioned dirty, filthy public hotel. I have 2 little babies, and then I have to bring all my diapers. Are you fucking kidding me? That is high maintenance. A wife does not want to go to AMWAY when she's got a suckling infant and a toddler in diapers, and they're 17 and a half months apart. And he, the husband, the father of my children, had the audacity to come home and tell me I was a negative person for not supporting his. And this is what I said to him. I'm going to pack up these things, not right away, subsequently. I'm going to pack up the kids. And what we're going to do is, I have a friend in Florida, and we're all going to be mothers by the ocean together. And I'm going to take the little babies, and we're going to do all that baby time while you follow the boys and see if your dream is going to take off. Because he had me spear chucking, if you know anything about AMWAY, where you go and you like completely 100% descend upon a family and like become super friendly, like you want to be their friend. They love bomb you. AMWAY is narcissistic. It's a narcissistic organization that works by intimidation and division, and they divide couples. It's hideous. If it didn't start off that way, it became that. It became a monster. Well, so has the patriarchy. So men do seem to expect women to put out well before he ever connects with her emotionally. And when I was young, my mistake with the narcissist is I did confuse sex for love, which is what the pick-me does nowadays. Although I was not a pick-me, I was very selective. But still, that is the pick-me attitude. And that would have been, meaning I couldn't see the bad behavior or the red flags from the beginning, but in retrospect, they were glaringly, they were so close to my face, I couldn't see the forest for the trees. I mean, the flags were there were so many of them. But it took experience, which is why I have bittersweet stories to tell, lots of love from the men that I had wonderful sex with who, yes, were narcissists, who were not bad all the time. I couldn't live my life. They were controlling. I was having physical issues. They affect your health. Some women stay and die of cancer. I met some of those men on online dating. So it's slim pickings out there. And I've met real men in real life who were toxic too. I am not going to just hook up with any man just because he's available. And what did one woman say? This woman's too high maintenance to have all of this drama? Huh? What do you think life is, bitch? When did you miss the plane ticket to like where we're at? What reality are you in? Girl, we are in a show. And it's show up for yourself. Be who you are. Be who you are. What, you can't stand when another woman owns herself? I'm a goddess. I co-create my world. We came in with limitations, and we came in with gifts, and we came in with challenges we may or may not have signed up for willingly or unwillingly, and we can always rescind. I rip up the poverty mentality contract. I rip up any reinstatement clause that says this chick's going to be poor for the rest of her life, that sort of thing. And then guess what I do? Suddenly I'm living in abundance. It's just around me everywhere. I even wanted to talk to you about the tongue and bitter, and I found this. I just love this. Yes, thank you for calling me bitter. The audience is fabulous. And you guys make me better, just like the narcissistic relationships did. They made me better too. I became a better person. I became a better person because of it. I became more developed. And if that was by design, that was by design. So mofos, I'm not going to change who I am. Somebody was like, you should just delete it all and get rid of your channel. It's like, yeah. You should stop jerking off to porn and read Erotica by Ines Nin. So 7 chakras, 7 tastes on the tongue. Isn't that sensational? You know how to make a mocktail now. You can call it anything you want. The guava goddess, the pink fizz, whatever. But essentially, it's half and half of synergy kombucha, guava goddess with a bubbly water. I like Gerolsteiner, but I couldn't find it. So I got Saratoga. Now I'm having straight up kombucha. Oof, I need to mix it. That's a little too flavorful for me. Am I a little too flavorful for some of you all? Am I? Do you guys take it hard on the chin? You know, a little reality dose? Oh, cat, don't go there. Well, I discovered that there is a really great place for me to be. Because when people disagree, calling them names is not the way to do it. And I said in my wrap-up, most recently, of 60 plus men, why they're undateable. Even the ones out there in the world that you find, I mean, it's crazy. Either that or the ones that are dateable are probably going for the younger ones. And I know that for a fact, because my girlfriend Jackie, her husband did that. So you guys get like, hey, I need more tea. Oh, I need new pussy. And then you trade in the new old model for a new model. Hopefully you're nice to the old model. In her case, she says so. So, hey. But anyway, she's having sex with everybody that she feels like it. And she's traveling around the country to do so. Taking airplanes and everything. And I'm just like, no, I'm not going to do that. I work for a living. Her full-time job is looking for a man. So think about her. She's traveling around the country to just meet these guys and have sex with them. She loves it. And I was like, all the more power to you, girl. But you know what? She also, is from a different culture than me. And she also got these in 2021 and stuff, the JAB. She has that. And I am not into putting anything into my body that's not necessary. And that's not necessary. That's the only reason why. The last time I actually had an injection was when I had to have some teeth work. And prior to that, it was every single time I had to have teeth work. So I had those injections. So yes, I've had heavy metal. And then when I was in my 20s, I had all of my immunizations or something updated at the University of Arizona. Yep. Because I ended up with valley fever. I went to the hospital clinic there for the students and had it tested. So we'll talk about that another time. It is a thing. It is a thing. But yeah, stick with me. We'll go places. You guys will learn how to talk to women appropriately. I think that this little book, Overheard at the Bookstore, and like having some jokes in between of the reality will help you like soften the way you might feel towards me about who I am and what I'm about and all that stuff. And know that I love men. I just think that men are not able to process their own emotions, and that they actually forming men's group that are not misogynistic, but actually talk to each other about their childhoods and why they probably aren't as kind to their wives as they are. And I know this happens because I met a guy like that when I was married to my second husband. We went up to the Catskills, and it was this training camp for the Warrior, the peak performance. And he was in our group, and we did I forgot. It's a P word, though. I have this whole thing on it when I come to it. But it was Warrior Training Camp. You know the one where you walk over coals at the end? No lie. You walk through a bed of coals at the end. And it's true. If you go really fast, you won't get burned. And then at the end, you do have black feet. But you're not burned. You're just really sooty. So don't wear white. But yeah, I was going to, so we went to the peak performance, and this guy let on that he had been mean to his wife. Like he was really, because he was a firefighter. So he would go home after his tough day of working hard to save people's lives, and he would be a real dick to his wife. And that's why he was crying. And he found that admitting that and then realizing his brutality needed to be siphoned off elsewhere. Predicament. That's what it is. So yes, the predicaments of life, huh? Is bitter bad? No. We now realize that bitter is essential for the 7 tastes of life. And we also have the sweet and the sour and the salty and the umami and the fat and the spicy. And I can be a little spicy too.